Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Richards. Today I'm going to talk to you about customer obsession. I work at Tesco Bank and my role is Head of Customer Design. And when I joined 6 years ago, design was really misunderstood in the organisation. And as Tesco, we have a huge responsibility within the UK to be really customer focused. So today I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey of how we set about creating a really sustainable way to involve customers throughout the design process, really start to drive empathy within the organisation, have insights at the heart of any change or improvement that we were making to customer experiences or products, and really trying to shift the organisation from what we would call customer conscious to a more customer obsessed organisation. And be under no illusions, that is a journey that we are very much still on. But when I joined 6 years ago, it was really clear that design was just completely misunderstood and not really used properly. And this really was where we started from, and I can already see the empathetic eye rolls, and you all get it. So design at the time was primarily made up of UX, that's user experience designers, and design was just undervalued, not leveraged. And so we really had a job to help the bank understand the role that design could play, and specifically a more strategic role. So we started small and simple, and we just tried out some stuff. The first thing that we did was we set up a temporary pop-up design studio in our headquarters in Edinburgh. This is really a dedicated space where we could show design in a very different light. And some of the things that we did, we used the walls to show our work to key stakeholders. Sounds really simple, but it's something that wasn't really happening in the organisation. Our research and insights, we started to show those on the walls, and we started to put our ideas up on the walls, from sketches to wireframes to high fidelity screens. And what I would say is, prior to this, those stakeholders would have been used to just seeing final screens. So we decided to step back to step forward with design in the organisation. Secondly, what we did was we tried an idea called Customer Wednesday. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit more about Customer Wednesdays in detail a bit later on. But the idea behind Customer Wednesday was simply bringing customers into the office on a Wednesday and talking to them. And really, the drive behind that was about creating empathy. Finally, we really needed to shift the perception that design was only there to execute final screens for customers. So we flipped this on its head by insisting that design was involved really before the inception of any new solution. And we really insisted on conducting research and insight, and really understanding the right problem to solve for the organisation. So the organisation was very solution focused, which is great. But we didn't see a lot of research and insight feeding into those solutions. And so what we wanted to do was really get involved and try to educate the rest of the organisation on what we call design thinking methodology, which I'm sure you'll all be familiar with. Those are some of the things that we did just to really get started. And so if you're sitting there thinking, that's me, I need to get started, these are some of my kind of best top tips for getting started. The first one is theatre. So create theatre. So sometimes you just really need to change up the status quo. And physically having a pop-up studio, giving it a name, walking the walls with stakeholders, it really got people's attention. Second one, feel fast. So I mentioned Customer Wednesday. Our first Customer Wednesday was a complete disaster for many reasons, but one of them was we simply forgot to book parking for our customers. So they rocked up, they had nowhere to park. One customer just left, the other one got a parking ticket. But we learned so much from that first session, and we were able to iterate from that and really get the format right, and of course, sort the parking. Next up was really kind of scaling fast. So having created the momentum in the organization, we really wanted to ramp up, and we decided to open design studios in Glasgow and Newcastle. So remembering we had that pop-up studio in Edinburgh already. And really, the most important thing behind the design studios were that we decided to locate the next studios in our call centres. And this was really the first time that any head office function had set up in a call centre. But this was really intentional. We wanted to be closer to our customers, but we also wanted to be closer to our colleagues, because our colleagues were speaking to customers every single day on the phones, and they just had so much knowledge and information and just real gold dust for us. So being closer to colleagues and customers was really important for us. So those studios were very intentional. So the second thing was Customer Wednesdays. So these were really gaining momentum, and we decided to make them what we call a design ritual. And this was the first of many design rituals that we decided to invest in as a team. Customer Wednesday started out as an in-person activity. However, during the pandemic, we had to go fully remote, like most people. And Customer Wednesday really simply is a one-day activity where we bring kind of 5 to 6 customers into the bank. And they were really designed to lower the barrier for involving our customers more frequently in our work. And it really helps us build that culture of continuous customer involvement, and really helps us create those insights which really feed the work for our customers. And typically over a year, this is what a Customer Wednesday will look like. So we'll do multiple sessions, and for us, it probably equates to about 18 days spent with customers. However, what's really important is Customer Wednesday is not a spectator sport. Project teams, stakeholders all get involved. And you can see on your screens just now is a picture of the team watching a customer interview, which is happening in another room and is being screened to the design studio. And the thing about this photo is that the guy in the pink shirt is our CEO. It's his third day in his new job in Tesco Bank. We took this picture on purpose. Back to my theatre point, sometimes you need to create it. However, in this instance, we needn't have bothered. So Jerry, who is our CEO, wrote to all colleagues after his first week to tell them about Customer Wednesdays and the session that he attended. And what we got from this was a real halo effect, and it was huge. Everybody wanted to come to Customer Wednesdays and get that access to our customers and start to empathize with our customers. I mentioned upstream design and really trying to get involved much earlier in solving problems for our customers. And we did this really through repivoting the designers to start in projects almost before they were established, and really start to look at the research and insight around the problem or the hypotheses that the business had. And we did this through really educating people, explaining design thinking, explaining the way that we work, talking about the value of continuous research and insights. We broke design down by advocating the benefits of getting closer to customers. We started to create insights and really started to design the right solutions off the back of that. And this is the model that we use. And when we're trying to break it down for people, we really just kind of break it down into two pieces. One is we're here to understand the problem, and then secondly, we're here to design the solution. So my two top tips for scaling would be, first off, culture. So we all know it takes a lot to shift culture. When I suggested bringing customers into the building, I was met with real resistance from the organisation, but we persevered, we brought customers in, and we made Customer Wednesdays accessible to everyone. And we used storytelling to play back the findings and insights from those sessions. And we also got buy-in at the most senior level with our CEO. Advocating spending time with customers was key for us, and it was really exciting for us that we managed to get the CEO inside to do that as well. And as a result of that, the organisation then became curious. And secondly, empathy. So whether it's listening to our customers through Customer Wednesdays, call listening in our call centres, using our platform UserTesting.com, all of these things create empathy. And we've had a lot of penny drop moments with colleagues and stakeholders the more time they spend with customers. So the more time they listen to customers and understand what's going on with them and what problems that they're facing into from a financial perspective, then the more empathy that they have with those customers. And one of our biggest learnings from spending time with our customers has been that as an organisation, as a financial institution, we continuously overestimate people's financial savviness, people's financial confidence, and their digital confidence when it comes to managing their money. And making assumptions about this without doing the research can be really dangerous. Prior to this, our lack of empathy with customers was really inhibiting great design and great experiences. So it was really key that we just continued to break that down. Evolving design in Tesco Bank and creating design as a capability meant we seriously had to up our game when it came to creating insights that could be used and shared widely. So to do this, we decided to focus our energy on building out an insights toolkit. To do this, we did a few different things. First off, we invested in upskilling our designers. So we had a bit of a mix when it came to skill sets across our design team. Some people were familiar with research, others not so much, or others just hadn't done it in a while and didn't really feel confident speaking to customers directly. So we invested time and effort into that. We also chose to invest in key strategic design partnerships. One of those with UserTesting.com, and allowing us to have that platform to be able to reach wide pools of customers really easily. These strategic partnerships have been key enablers for us to really shift ourselves as a design practice, but also to shift the organisation when it comes to research and insight. And one of the most powerful techniques we decided to invest in was the ability to run ethnographic studies, and playing these back into the bank, whether it's showing a diary study or showing a filming of having done a shopper shadow, has been a phenomenal way for us to bring customers into the room. In addition to this, we always make sure that when we are doing any ethnographic study, that we bring non-designers and non-researchers into our studies, and also key stakeholders. What we found is getting them to directly interact with their customers really helps with that mindset shift, and helps them become advocates across the bank for the way in which we work and for research and insights. And through ethnography, we're also creating that longevity to our research and insights. So my top tips here are storytelling. So uncovering insights is great, but you won't cut it in a corporate unless you can land them in a way that's really compelling, has impact on the work, and is memorable. And so as a design practice, we chose to couple the investment in ethnography with the ability to storytell. And we see this as a really key skill that we want all our designers to have. And it's one of our most powerful tools in our kit. Secondly, free stuff, whether it's tools to conduct surveys or interviews, market data or competitor data. There's so much free stuff out there. You don't need a big budget for research and insights to get started, so just have a look around. Having invested significant time and effort in getting closer to our customers, overhauling that research skill set and toolkits, the design practice started to get involved in even more projects and projects that spanned out with digital. So we purposefully built out the team to cover research, UX, UI, service design, and systems design. And this investment allowed us to get involved in non-digital problems to be solved. So from transforming our complaints experience for both colleagues and customers to proposition design, and more recently, physical design in looking at the role of the office in the future, we've really moved from primarily being a digital design team to propositions, to physical and to service problems in the organization. And what this has allowed us to do is really evolve our skill set and capability, and ultimately meet the demand from the business for design, but ultimately help our customers. One of the things that we do every year is we choose to focus on what we call design superpowers. We have learned over time that focusing on one thing a year is the right cadence for us. Anything more as a practice and we just don't get to it. And you can see in the last few years that evolving the role of design in the organization means that you really need to be continuously looking at the capability you have on the ground and thinking towards the future and thinking about what's the next big thing. And so for us, you can see in 2019, for example, we focused on that research and insights, really upskilling ourselves in the ability to conduct research and insights, but really importantly, translate those research and insights, play them back into the organization. And so that led in 2020 to storytelling. So making sure that we can land those insights with impact across the organization, but also join it up with what we're delivering for our customers and making sure that we're telling the fully rounded story. And then lastly, behavioural design. So this is something that we have chosen to focus on in 2021, recognising the importance of behavioural design and how that can play a part in us helping our customers manage their money a little better every day. Evolving the design and design practice is one thing, but we also need to do this with the rest of the bank. And one of the best ways we have found to do this is through case studies. Taking people on a journey, starting with research and insights, right through to what do we deliver for our customers. I mentioned complaints earlier. This was our first big case study. We completed this work through what we call a design runway. And a design runway is a time-boxed piece of discovery work. And it can last for 4 weeks or it can last up to 16 weeks, depending on the hypotheses or the problem that we're trying to solve. And we decided to storytell this particular piece of work around complaints into the bank in a really compelling way. And creating that case study meant that we were creating proof points in the organization and really trying to advocate the use of research and insights, but also advocate the use of design. And from the complaints case study, you know, we have told that story so many times, and as a result of that, we now have this kind of unprecedented demand from senior leaders across the organization wanting us to run more design runways. And at any one time, we can be running up to 4 concurrent runways. And we try to create a case study off the back of each of them. So remember I mentioned the theatre. So design runway is really just what our designers do, but we gave it a name, we made it a thing, we created case studies off the back of it, and we story told it to the organisation. My second tip when evolving design in your organisation is really to demystify it. So people leave, new people join, and you have to continuously educate the organisation. This is really key. So break it down for people and simplify. I mean, we simply tell people that we're here to solve problems for our customers and the business. It's really that simple. So embedding customer and embedding insights within any organisation is hard. It is hard yards everywhere. Everyone is on their own journey. At Tesco Bank, we have quite a big ambition when it comes to being more focused on our customers. And articulating that ambition has been really difficult to land on. So we've created the customer maturity ladder, and this sets out our ambition. It describes the steps we need to take in order for customers to be within the subconscious of our organisation. And really, that's our aim. So have a look. Where do you think you sit? Where do you think your team sits? Where might your organisation sit today? When I played this into our senior leaders at Tesco Bank, we all agreed we have more to do, and getting that alignment is really half the battle. It starts with every single conversation in the organisation, bottom up and top down. We have embarked on a really ambitious and, I guess, curated campaign to become more customer obsessed. And let me share a really great example with you. In June this year, we decided to train 10 of our senior leaders in complaint handling. In July, the first of those leaders spent a day in Glasgow to work a customer complaint. They resolved that complaint. They called the customer with the outcome. We filmed it all. We're going to share it with the rest of the bank. Why, you might be thinking, did we do that? The answer is the halo effect. If my manager is speaking to customers, then what am I doing and how can I understand our customers more? To help those colleagues, we have, on the flip side of that, created a framework, and that really helps colleagues connect with our customers, listen to our customers, observe and work with customers. So everything that you see on screen just now, making all of this accessible to everyone in the organisation has been one of our biggest steps in becoming customer obsessed. So making sure anybody can attend a Customer Wednesday. Insight Out, that is our internal insights platform, opening it up, giving everybody access. Call listening, making it a thing. We run call listening every single week in the bank and anybody can attend. Tesco families, these are our personas within Tesco Bank and making those accessible to everyone. Shopping at Tesco sounds simple, but you can pick up so much stuff when you go shopping at Tesco and just listen to the colleagues in store or the customers. And of course, user testing. So making sure that we are using the platform to its very best capability has been really key for us. And so what are my top tips here? So what I would say is empathizing with your customers is hugely powerful. The ability to relate and put yourself in customers' shoes should not be underestimated. Stay relentlessly focused on your customers. Become obsessed. Secondly, exposure. So how many hours a week, how many hours a month, how many hours a year do you spend watching or listening to your customers? Do you watch them use your product or your service? Because you actually need to spend enough time to observe a frustration or a problem and then turn that into an opportunity or a solution. It's okay if the answer is, I don't spend a lot of time with customers. Just try to do more. I wanted to say a big thank you for listening and leave you with some of my key takeaways. The first one is advocacy. So finding an advocate at a senior level can be hugely advantageous. They can really help you influence, pave the way, and really connect with that wider organisation. And this can be contagious. Once the organisation gets it, light starts to appear at the end of the tunnel. The second is silver bullet. So I'm afraid to say there isn't one, and it takes lots of things happening at the same time to shift an organization. So try to purposefully choreograph these actions if you can. And back to my first point, just create the theatre around it. Thirdly, mindset. We all know behaviours are just really hard to shift. And I've been here 6 years and we are investing in lots of things. So things that I've already talked about, the superpowers, the case studies, getting others to observe, getting others to listen to your customers. Really start with the skeptics in the organization and really try to demystify what you do. And lastly, but by far the most difficult thing to do, consistency. Doing things in a consistent way breeds new norms. So create frameworks, create design rituals, create toolkits, give things a name, teach it in, make things accessible, share learnings. Simply be the pain in the ass in the room when it comes to customers. And so I wanted to leave you with this quote, which is from our CEO. And if you think about where we started, UX as a colouring in, this is where we've landed up. But it's been really, really hard. And I wish everybody luck in their own journeys, in their own organisations. So thank you from me. And I look forward to your questions if you have any.